back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys a whole lot for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I seriously do. I appreciate. So guys, if you are new to my channel, if this is the first time of you coming across Stylish Naija YouTube channel, I would appreciate if you will hit on the subscribe button. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It actually takes nothing. Just hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate that. And then also hit on the bell beside to get an update. So whenever I upload a new video, once you hit on that bell, you are going to be like among the first people to actually see my video. So that's just like the essence. Okay guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to actually cut and sew a cape on an off-shoulder dress. So you could see, so I have an off-shoulder blouse here, so it could be a gown, it depends. So actually I've gotten a lot of requests from subscribers on how to actually sew a cape on an off-shoulder dress like this. So today I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really simple and easy, and then that's what we're going to do. Okay, so guys, I normally run online classes every month. So if you want to register for my online classes, you see my number scrolling through the screen. So just send me a message on WhatsApp to register. So if you know you want to register for the class, so that's when you should contact me on WhatsApp. And okay, I normally presently I have about 4 classes. So I have the beginners class, I have the corset, the intermediate, and then the ready to wear. So the ready to wear is like the latest class that I have right now. And in this class, I'm going to be showing you how to perfectly finish your ready to wear dresses. Some people will like ready to wear, and they are really not very difficult. Yes, they are really not very difficult, but the truth of the matter is, if you don't finish your ready to wear perfectly, you will not sell. Even if you manage to sell in the first time, your customers, they actually will not come back to buy more because your work is not neat, the finishing is not good. So in that class, I'm going to be showing you how to perfectly, and then the business side of how to market and then sell, and then your sizing chart, for you to create out your chart, the size charts that you would use to create out the dresses. So these are the things we are going to be learning in that class. Okay, so let's just get started. So I actually have my off-shoulder dress, like I said. So this off-shoulder dress, it actually have sleeves. So I just did this video recently. So if you have not seen that video on how to create this sleeve, so these are like key. You need a sleeve in order for you to be able to create this cape. You need sleeve. But there are some that you can actually add without creating a long sleeve. So but you still need basic sleeve like this for you to be able to pass the cape around. So that is why you need to watch this video. So the description box, I'll drop the link. Okay, the first thing we're going to do now, I'm going to do it on the pattern paper. We're going to create the capes because you actually create them, and then you make sure that what you have created, you like it, and then you place it, and then you check before you transfer to your fabric. If not, you are going to waste your fabric. So I have some scrap fabric here that I'm going to use. So we're going to create it here. So let me fold out the paper and then show you how to create them. Okay guys, so there are some this cape, there are 2 ways of doing this. So this is actually the front of my dress. There are some cape, this is the back. So this is my zipper allowance and part here. There are some of the cape can actually run from this center point like this through the arm and then ends here inside of the zipper allowance. There are some that ends there, and then there are some of the cape that ends in this shoulder part. So you are going to determine which of the ones you are going to do. So the only difference between the 2 is just that this one is extended up to this point, while the other one actually stops here. So you just think of which one you are going to do. So right now in this class, I'm actually confused. The truth of the matter is I don't know which one to do, but both of them are the same process. That's just the truth. It's just the extension. So I think this one that ends here is like actually very simple. So okay, what I'm going to advise here, if you are going to be making bigger capes, this one that extends to the zipper allowance part, bigger capes will actually do that. If you are going to make your cape bold, so you should do this one. But if you are going to do the slim one that is not really going to be big, let it end here. So let's do this one. This one is like the very simple, the very common one. The one that actually ends here is like very common. So let's do the one that will end in the armhole. That's the back armhole part. So let's do that. So in doing this, this is where what you are going to put into consideration. You are going to measure and mark the center of your neckline. So the neck of the front neckline is that front neckline. That is what you are going to use as you are going to pattern the top of your cape through your neckline to where you actually want it. If it's going to end here, and then if it's going to end here, but the shape of the top part of your neck of the cape is going to go like this. So that's, you are just going to use this shape, as in this shape like this. What you have here, that's what is going to be. That is what we make it to come out and properly and fine. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to measure. So you are going to take your tape from the center. This is the center, and then you are going to measure how many inches. You run the tape through, making it loose. It should not be tight. You understand? It should not be tight. So for this one that will end here, we have about 15 inches. So if it's the one that will end on the zipper allowance part, this what we are going to have here is going to be 21. So I just want you to note and know the difference. This one here is 15, and then this one is 21. So we're doing this actually. So the next thing we're going to do now, you are going to cut out one. So once you get the shape for one, you use that to cut out the rest. So that's as easy as it is. So what we are going to do now, from this part like this, I'm going to take this part. So what we actually want now is 15 inches, but you are not going to cut out exactly 15. You are going to cut it, let it have enough allowance, so you'll be able to shape it properly the way you like. If you want to pleat it, so like you see the picture there, if you want to even pleat small, you can pleat small inside, and then it will still come out very fine, and then it will relax properly. So this is like 15. So this will be for the two cape. That's this side and then this side. This is 15. My pattern paper is folded into two. This is 15, but we're not going to. So I'll use the end of my pattern paper, which is what I have here, is actually 18 inches. So that I will be able to shape it very well. And that's just like the essence of doing this. So I'll be able to shape it. So I'm just going to, that's 18 inches. You know what we want is actually 15. So this 3 inches here, this extra 3 inches, I'm going to bring it to this front part. So that's where I'm going to start measuring from. And then this other part will be my allowance. So you can, okay, let me not confuse you. Let's just take it from this part. So what you just leave 1 inch, so you'll be able to shape the mouth of the cape. So let's leave 1 inch, and then let's just leave the rest like that. So I hope you understand. I'm going to go again. So what we actually want is 15 inches like this to this part like this is 15 inches, and then the whole of my pattern paper is 18 inches. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to come here just 1 inch. The essence of this 1 inch is just for me to have allowance, and so I'll be able to play with it. So I'm using the whole entire width. So what I have here now is 17 inches, and then this is 1 inch, that's 18. So I'm just going to take the part like this part like this, and then I'm going to like just bring it like this to this form. So you see what I have. I'm just going to spread it. You understand? So that's the beauty of an off shoulder. You can just spread it like this. I'm going to place it here like this and then spread it. And then I want to get the shape. I need to get this shape. That is what will help me to get it perfectly well. So you can look for something to actually help you. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this to secure it down. Let it be down like this. So this is what I'm going to do. Is this top part that I really need the shape. So from this point like this, I'm just going to mark. So I've gotten to this part, but I'm not going to stop it here. I'm going to extend it because of the allowance. So I'm just going to extend it. So you shift this part also, just extend it a little bit to the end. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use my pattern to curve this out nicely. Just make sure, place the part that will help you achieve the curve. Just place it. So you see this part, it entered properly. So I'm going to curve out this part like this now. So I'll just blend this part like this together. So the next thing I'm going to do now, so for this part now, for the down part, you can pattern it however you actually want. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut the slimmer one. That's the one on top. That's the one I'm going to cut out first. So I'm going to use, let's use about 2 inches. So let's use about 2 inches first. So from this point like this, so this is like 2 inches. So from this point now, this down part is not going to be 2 inches. So this front, so I'm just trying to use 2 inches, but I'm going to shape it. So this is 2 inches. So what I'm going to do now, this part is I'm going to create a curve like this and then blend it into this point. So this part, you just have to be creative, you understand? Just be creative. So you see what I have. So you see the way I place my pattern paper. Sorry, my pattern curve like this. So I'm just going to use it now to get that shape to this point. So you see the shape of the down part. So I just use it like this to get the shape. So I have the shape already. So you don't need, if you don't need to make it straight, if you make it straight, you might have problems. It might be too tight. So that is why you need to make it as loose as possible. So now we're going to cut out this first part. But because of the allowance that we added to it, we're not going to have any problem. So from this point now, so this part now, you can extend it. You can just extend it. You can actually do that. But whatever you do, this top part, don't touch it. So this part came up because of the shape of my off-shoulder sleeve. So that's why it is up. If not, if it was straight, it would just have that curve nature around it like that. So I'm going to follow this part now. So I'm going to, let's check it on our dress to see before we continue. So this is what we're going to have now. So you know this part is extra, so you can actually and always trim that off. So that the essence is just for you not to run into any problem. That's why I made it excess. You can always trim it off. So with that, you will not run into any problem. You'll be able to play with your fabric as much as you can. So you measure this part now, just check it through the neckline part. So you see, because we made it the same, so you see it is looking beautiful already. And then you're just going to pass it through to make sure. So you see what we have, you see it entered properly, and then we have excess. So that's just like the essence. And then if it was the one that is going to the armhole band, so the zipper allowance part, it's just going to extend and then it's going to end there. So I'm just trying to explain it so much so you will understand. So this part now, so I can play with it. I can actually trim out this part. You know, that extra excess that I put, I can trim it out. So I'll make sure that I get everything on my pattern paper before I continue. So this part is key. You understand? So this part is key. So this one for this other side also. So it goes in and then enters through here. Let me just place it for you to see before we continue. So you see them. So you see the cape. You see it goes beautifully well and then goes through. So on this part, you can pattern it however, do anything you like to this part. So with this now, we're going to, using this shape on the top, I'm going to cut out more. The only difference that I'm going to add is just the length. You know, it is the cape, there are actually 3. So I'm just going to increase the length. That's the width rather. This is the length now. Okay, so this is the length and then this is the width. So I'm going to increase the length. Okay, so I'm just going to take this now also, but everything is going to be the same. It's just the length like this that will increase. So I'm going to take it and then make sure, you understand, I'm going to make sure that the shape for the other one. So before you start, you can just decide to at least leave that part and then pattern the second one. You understand? The second one like this also. You can still use your pattern curve. You can still use your pattern curve, and as you are placing it on top like this, you can still use your pattern curve, you understand, and then do this. Or better still, okay, let's just see. So I'm just trying to get a very easy way, the way that it will be so easy for you to to do. You understand? That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. So you can still take your pattern curve. For those of you that don't have pattern curve, I think I'm going to do the third one without the pattern curve. So for those that don't have a pattern curve, they'll be able to still do this. So for this, so you are going to mark out the difference. So you measure it before you start to know. So the first one was actually, we used 2 inches. So this second one now is going to be 4 inches. So it depends. So that's the difference between the two, is another 2 inches. So always put allowance, so you'll be able to. So you place it like this very well. Make sure that the mouth, the shape is the same. Because that is where. So this is the second one. I'm just going to still place it. Let's see if we actually got it. So you see how it is looking, and then it still goes like this and then comes in. So we have our allowance. Once we are done, we'll trim out this part. So we have the second one, and then the third one. Let's try and do it out without a pattern curve and see how it will look like. So you place them on top, and then we'll place them like this also. So you see how I'm doing it. You notice that the pattern paper is not straight, it's slanting, because if you do it straight, you will not be able to, it will be tight. So you see it is slanted. So I'm just going to take this part like this now, just trim out using this one also. Let's mark out the neckline part. Okay, so for this now, what we are going to do, for those people that don't have pattern paper, those that don't have pattern curve, you are just going to come like this, and then you go like this, and then when you get to this part like this, you are just going to bring your artistic skills. So you see what we are doing. I'm just using my own hand like this now to create the curve. You understand? So you are going to measure. You know, we're using 2 inches, so you see it. I was still on our 2 inches. So this one is 2.5, but you know, because we will stitch it, that's just like the difference. So you curve it like this, and then as you are curving, as you are getting to this part like this, you are slanting it. Let it go into the neckline point. Let it go into that part. So you make sure that all of them are the same. You understand? So what we are going to do now, we're going to cut it out. So if you don't have pattern curve, you don't need to have any problem. So we'll cut it out now. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to transfer to our fabrics. So for this part, you use any width of your choice. Like I said, use any length of your choice. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to transfer this on my fabric. So I'm going to cut out 6 pieces of this. That's 6 pieces, because you know we're going to sew and turn. That's like 12. So this one is going to, okay, let me just calculate it for you. So this one on this side, this is going to be 2, because you sew and turn. And then this is the second one. So this one also, that's the second one. So we're going to cut out 2 pieces of this and then 2 pieces of this, because we're going to sew and turn. And then with this second one also 2 pieces of this, and then 2 pieces of the second one also. That's this. Another 2 pieces. That's 2, and then this big one 2. So this one is a little bit, is looking very big. So I'm going to, after cutting out on my fabric, I'm going to still trim it. I'm still going to trim all of them. I'm going to trim them. They are too big. I'm actually going to trim them a little bit. So I'm going to reduce the length a little bit. So I'm going to drop them to about 1 inch difference. So let me just cut out on my fabric first before I continue. Okay guys, so you see I finished cutting So what I forgot to say, sorry about that. I added allowance on the down part. Note the top part I did not add any allowance because I want the neckline part, I want it to be the same, so I did not add anything, so I just traced it out exactly. But the allowance is added to the down part, so I used about half of an inch. So you see, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and sew them and turn. So I'll sew and turn, sew and turn. But the part we're going to stitch is, you're going to stitch this down part like this, only this down part, and then stitch to this part a little bit. But this whole top neckline part and this part you are not going to stitch. So we'll stitch, turn, and then iron out, and then I'll come and show you how to join them together and then fix out the cape. Okay guys, so I finished stitching them. So this is the first part, so you're just going to place them on top of each other like this, and then you place the second one also, so you just place them on top of each other. So after stitching and ironing, and then the next thing you are going to do, make sure all of the edges, that's the neckline part, they are the same. The next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this piece like this, and then take this piece like this. I'm going to place them together like this. That's the right side facing the right side. So I'm just going to place them like this, and then I'm going to go and stitch. I'll just stitch it here like this. So after stitching, this is what I'm going to have. You understand? So this is what I'm going to have. I'll stitch it from inside, and then the neckline part, I'll join the three necklines together. I'm going to run a stitch along like this to those points like this. So I think the first thing is just run a stitch on the neckline part to this point, and then before you join the both of them together like this. So I'll go and do that and then bring it back and show you. Okay guys, so you see I finished stitching it, so it is really looking beautiful. So I'm so happy about the outcome. So you see the center part that we stitched. So after stitching, and then so you see, so the next thing you are going to do now, from the back part, if you were doing the one that will end on the zipper allowance part, so you open up on the zipper allowance part, you're just going to open out the dress wide open. So but since I'm doing this one that is ending on the back armhole, so I'm going to open the back armhole, that's from the sleeve part. I'm just going to open it up like this, and then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it like this, and then I'm going to place together. I want to get the center part of the neckline because I want it to align properly. So you see what I have. So I'm just going to make a notch here. You know, because I was using an already finished dress, that is why the neckline is finished. Normally, if you are making this, you don't need to stitch out the neckline, you don't need to turn it. When you are turning with your lining, you leave the top part, that's the neckline part. You are not going to turn it, so because the cape is going to cover it. So this is the center now. So I've put the notch. So here's what we are going to do. You are going to take it like this. This is the wrong side. So this is the wrong side. So you are going to take your cape like this, and then you are going to take the right side of your cape. So I just want to see it properly. You are going to take the right side of your cape, like this is the right side. You are going to place it like this now, and then I'm going to stitch along the neckline from the center like this. I'm going to stitch it through the neckline, through the sleeve, and then it's going to end. So you see that excess allowance that we had here. So I'm just going to stitch it, let it get to this point, so you can release your hand a little bit. You understand? So you can release your hand a little bit, so it comes, since you have allowance. But if you don't do this properly, you are going to miss it, because at the end of the day, that is why I always like adding excess allowance. So because of that 3 inches allowance I added, I'm not going to run into any problem. So I'm just going to take it now. So from the back, so you see this is the wrong side of the blouse, and then this is the right side of my cape. So I'm going to place it like this. I'm trying to explain because I want you to really get what I'm doing. So I'm going to run it like this, along like this, on the sleeve part like this. I'll run it on top, and then it will get to this part. So note, this part I'm not stitching it. So after stitching, I'll go and stitch it and then bring it back and show to you. I finished stitching it from the inside. So this is what you are going to, how it's going to look like. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put small notches on this part. So the essence of putting the small notches is just to help it to relax properly. So I'll just put the notches round, and then after putting the notches, I'll take it back to my machine, and then I'll stitch this part just to get it to relax a little bit. So I'll stitch this part. So if you are using a soft fabric, you can decide not to do this, but if you are using a fabric that is a little bit bulky, like a scuba, like what we have on the picture, it's actually a scuba, but if you are using a satin, you can decide to leave it. So you just stitch it down, let it relax properly. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take it like this. So you see this part like this, and then I'm going to give it a good solid ironing. So from this part like this, I'm going to take it, press it down, and press it very well with my pressing iron. You just press it very well so that it relaxes. So after doing that, now I'm just going to take it like this, and then I will fix back my sleeve. So you see how beautiful it is looking. I'm just going to fix back my sleeve. So I'll cut out the excess and then fix back my sleeve like this. So I hope you understand. So after ironing, I'm just going to take it back like this. After ironing, it's going to look like this, and then I'm going to connect it back just the way I fixed my sleeve. I'll just now stitch the sleeve back on this sleeve, stitch it back on this point. So I'm going to go and do that, and then come back and show you the finished look of this cape. So it really came out beautifully well. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, you see what we have. Our cape is really looking so beautifully well. So like I actually forgot to mention it in the beginning of the class, this kind of technique that was used for this cape is called the TR technique, which is transformation recreation. So that's what was actually used to, and you could see because of the layers. So you see the back part, so I had to pin it for it to fit into my mannequin. So if you were doing the one that will end on the zipper allowance part, this is the zipper allowance part. So this cape is just going to extend, and then it enters into the zipper allowance part. There are some that you can decide to stop just like 1 inch before the zipper allowance. So when you are fixing the zipper, you don't need to fix it in. So this one is just going to stop here. So there are different ways and different method of achieving such cape. So like I said, if you are doing the one with the long sleeve, it's still the same process, and then the sleeve is just going to be there, and then this part is just going to be here like this. So at the end of the day, you see that we actually achieved what is on the picture. So thank you so much. If you find this video illustration helpful, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button. Let me know you appreciate what I did. And then if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.